Yes, Guilty Movie Pleasure fans, we are finally back! And I have some questions for you. Hey, yo, do you like Stallone? How about Arnold? Or maybe you like Bruce Willis? Or Jason Statham? Well, guess what? We got all of them and 35 more action heroes because we're covering Expendables 2!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasure.
I am celebrating, not messing up that intro.
Well done.
I hate it when I don't plan an intro, which is every week. But when I don't plan one and then I come up with one that I kind of like and royally screw it up.
Sure.
You
know what could solve that is just a couple practice runs.
I was just going to say that. You know what could solve that? Actually preparing.
Just preparing.
You know what?
But,
they don't pay me enough to prepare here.
It doesn't matter.
So we did talk about this in the 5-second gap between the intro and now. How my ending when I said the title sounded like Stallone and Keanu Reeves combined.
A little bit, which begs the question.
Expendables 2.
Yeah. That was.
Hey guys, Bill and Ted Part 3.
How great would that be if
Stallone came on?
Yeah.
If Stallone replaced Rufus.
Ooh.
George Carlin, rest in peace, man.
Yeah.
I don't think they should cast Stallone to replace George Carlin.
No, in anything except Rocky movies from here on out.
Yeah, I would watch Expendables 4, which is supposed to happen. So anyways, hey, we're back. We were gone for the 4th of July. Jesse was on vacation, being awesome. I was just sitting around a lot. But hey, we're back.
Teach them.
And we're back with a modern-day guilty movie pleasure classic in my mind. I love all three Expendables movies. I'm just gonna get right into it.
Do it. Just get right into it.
Yeah, why not?
Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Oh yeah, hey, if you're just now joining us for the first time, which that would be a treat, I'm Ben Begley, your host, and you can find me at the Ben Begley on Twitter and Instagram. And with me, as always, is Jesse McIntosh.
Jesse McIntosh,
or Jackie Messintosh.
To his friends refer to him as Jackie McIntosh.
I call him Jackie.
I bet y'all didn't know that about me. So this is for new people and for old people. Now you know something new about me.
I love that every week you have to remind me to introduce this. Hey, how about you do the thing that hosts usually do?
Just I wouldn't worry about it. No.
Jesse, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Too Much Jesse.
There we go. Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Back to Expendables.
Expendables 2.
I remember when the first one got announced, I was super pumped. I've actually seen all three of these with my father-in-law. Because I take him he loves Stallone, he loves Arnold, and I take him to all these like cheeseball action films. We saw The Last Stand together, we saw Creed, everything. So anything with Stallone, it's like, we're going. The first Expendables I really liked, but I felt like it was more of a bromance between Stallone and Statham, because you haven't seen it, but basically they have the team do a battle in the beginning, then the Statham and Stallone go and do a reconnaissance mission to figure out this big bad guy, Eric Roberts' character in it. And then there's a huge battle at the end again. But there's a large chunk of it where it's just Stallone and Statham. And you feel like it was just a scheduling thing. And Willis and Schwarzenegger are in one scene in the first one. And it feels like a total cop-out. And they tease you in this one like Arnold's only going to be in the beginning and Willis is only going to be in the beginning. But the reason I love this is just the shot of Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Stallone just blasting away and Chuck Norris above them. I'm like, this is everything I want in a movie.
So just to get my timeline right, for the original Expendables, wasn't Schwarzenegger still a sitting governor at that time?
Yeah, he was.
So, okay.
So literally, he just shows up and is like, I don't want the job, give it to him. He likes running around the jungle, which was like, oh, I get it, because you like Ear and Predator. Oh, I see. And then 3, I was really disappointed because they made it PG-13, which negates the entire purpose of. They tried to pass the baton to, like, we talked about this before the show, Kellen Lutz, and like Ronda Rousey's awesome, but you don't come to a movie like this to see all these other rando young people that I've never heard of. And Kellen Lutz, nobody's gonna see a movie.
I actually don't know who that is. No disrespect to Kellen Lutz.
He was in the Rennie Harlan, I think it's
Expendables 3.
He was in Hercules, not the Rock one, the other one. I don't know if it was Rennie Harlan that did it. Anyways, nobody saw it. So anyways,
that did not clear it up for me.
The third one, it's PG-13. The violence is dummied down, and they try and pass it off to these youngsters, and then the old guys have to save them in the end. But it does have Harrison Ford and Wesley Snipes and Antonio Banderas and Mel Gibson, and they're all awesome in it.
So a little known fact about these movies is if you were not in any of the Expendables movies, you're not allowed to live in Los Angeles. That's
this. I don't know if you can see this. The Expendables 3 cover is so crowded. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people.
And not only that, if you flip the cover over, there's a whole new photograph with all new people in it right behind it. That's not true. But if you do look at the photograph, if you have a moment and just look up the Expendables 3 DVD cover, they're all smiling.
It's weird. They're
just really weird. It looks like I said earlier, the last day of camp.
Or they were like, all right, guys, now do a goofy photo.
Yeah.
And they're like, ha ha.
It's
super weird.
It's definitely not the vibe.
Anyways, I remember when I saw Expendables 2 in theaters, I loved it. I had a total blast. Rewatching it, the beginning and ending is awesome. And there's a few action scenes sprinkled throughout that I really like. But I've realized that the main problem with this trilogy is that they don't really know what to do with story.
Right.
So they just kind of chuck the guys together and keep throwing in jokes around until one of them lands. And so I still really enjoyed it, and I thought it was hysterical. It's like a parody of action films, but it's bloated for like 30 to 40 minutes in the second act. But now I want to know your thoughts, since I just talked for 47 minutes about this. That's what I do. I just give people a dissertation on the entire series.
Right.
That's what they come for.
And it's appreciated by all, I think.
They want to know. God forbid we ever do like an 8-part series.
You know what? I guarantee people are taking notes. Prove me right. Screenshot your notes.
Yeah, screenshot your notes.
I want to see them.
So, Jesse, you've never seen any of these, right?
No. I still
Did you have
haven't.
any interest?
A little bit.
I still haven't.
Yeah,
like when we had the MX4D guys on who were awesome, but the one guy was like, "Oh, I've only seen the first 20 minutes of Sharknado," and I was like, "Well,"
and I saw it 10 years ago. That was
hilarious.
A fun moment.
Kirk, he was a nice dude.
Go take a look
he
at our
rolled
faces
with it. He rolled with it.
when that happened. Oh, for real? Yeah.
Dan was an expert, though.
Yeah, he sure was.
He was awesome.
I almost feel like he wrote those movies.
Yeah.
So a little bit, but here the main problem that I had watching it, which is sort of my misgivings about seeing them, were that they cared more about, like you said, putting the people together and referencing each other than they do about the actual movie.
Yeah.
Which is nonsensical and unfocused.
Well,
So
let's be fair.
I mean that.
It's just super simple.
But okay, but look, that I don't even. I think it's beyond super simple. I think it's just like throwing vagaries into the air and saying like how many, like looking at a board of catchphrases that have been in action movies and been like, which of these can we string together?
I do wish they made a little bit more effort.
Linear. But the point is that I think it didn't matter to them.
Yeah.
Like they got all these guys, and what I wish had happened was that they made a clear and like, not to use the word again, but sensical and linear and thought out movie with it. But instead they were just like, we have all these guys, let's utilize them, let's do the things that they do and hope that people come to see these people who they know and love.
Yeah.
And I just don't have enough nostalgia for the people that are in it. I mean, some of them, but not enough to be like, I just want to see them do those things again. Because I could just watch those things. Do you know what I mean?
But you can't watch those things all in one movie.
Yeah, but I don't need to.
Van Damme and Stallone fighting is so awesome.
Van Damme was actually my favorite part of this movie. I thought he was really engaging and really fun to watch.
He's really fun.
Yeah.
His villain gets no backstory.
His name is literally Villain.
Yeah, it's Villain.
Villain. And it's spelled Villain.
Yeah, screw it. We're going to skip to clip number 2 real quick, because this is his introduction when he explains his tattoo.
This is the symbol of the goat, the pet of Satan. They say.
I love that little... They say. Yeah. It's like, man, you and all your dudes committed to this tattoo on your neck.
You should have researched it.
I mean, yeah.
Did they have Google in the Expendables 2 day?
Yeah, this is 2012.
Yeah. So just a little bit of research.
They say. It could mean, whale ass, but instead, which is a delicacy apparently in Sweden.
Yeah.
We'll play that clip later. We gotta wait.
Spread it out, dude.
We can't just.
Can't blow our whole load right now.
Can't get the goat and whale ass right in the beginning.
Not together.
So did you enjoy it at all, or was it a big disappointment for you? What was your feelings?
Yeah, I enjoyed parts of it.
That opening 15-minute battle is insanity.
Yeah, the opening battle, like I like laughed at it when every time Chuck Norris came in and like did his Chuck Norris thing a little bit.
Especially because we know how insane Chuck Norris is now.
Yeah, yeah. And also like this is separate and apart from the movie itself, but like the subtitles on my screen, whenever Chuck Norris laughed, it would say chuckling. And
Did you watch it with subtitles again?
Yeah.
Why does that keep happening?
Well, because my air conditioning was on and my wife was asleep, so I was like having to read the subtitles a little bit. But
invest in some Bluetooth headphones.
I need to.
You can get them for $10 at Target.
But the fun part about it was that it kept saying Chuck Norris was chuckling.
Chuck Norris chuckling.
And I read it as like a verb to describe Chuck being Chuck Norris.
He's just chuckling again.
He's just being chuckling.
There's Chuck Norris chuckling again.
Yeah. So there were moments where I laughed at it, and there were moments where I like was trying to sincerely follow it, and then I bailed on that pretty quickly.
Man, I think just because I love all of these ridiculous 80s movies so much that I feel like definitely when I saw it in theaters, I was on board the entire time.
Sure.
And then this time, I think I really started watching it from a more analytical standpoint, which is insane to do with something like this because you can't.
You can't.
But that opening action sequence, so much happens in it, which we'll get into. But I think that the action delivers, but yeah, it doesn't know what it wants to do in between the action scenes.
Yeah, and like I really would have I found myself wanting more camaraderie from all of them
instead of them just being antagonistic the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, hey, cauliflower ears and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and
or like there were just too many moments to me where everyone cleared out for one person to just do them versus like what would it be like if they all like.
Well, if you think that's the case, the first one basically clears out for like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
with just
like
Statham and Stallone.
What's the point of having all these people if you're not going to like throw them in a pot? Like the best scene to me, or some of the best scenes, were like when they woke up in the like warehouse that they camped out in, and they were all like talking about how like who prepared for what and like how you need to be prepared. Like at least they're all talking to each other and they're all there and like present and doing their own things, but together. Yeah. Versus like so much of the movie was just like Stallone by himself being like, I'm gonna do Stallone things, or Statham being like, I'm gonna do Statham things. Yeah.
Stallone definitely, you can tell it's still his movie,
right? Even
though which makes sense. It's Barney. He's Barney Ross. He's the head of the group. It makes sense. Before we get into too much more, we're gonna do the plot in under 3 minutes. You ready in the booth there, Steve?
Yes, sir.
Or did we lull you into submission?
No, I am good to go.
Okay, good.
All right, guys.
Here we go. Get ready. Maybe this could be the plot in 90 seconds.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so we start off with this giant action sequence where all of the Expendables show up in these ridiculous battering ram trucks where Stallone, the battering ram's on the back just so he can flip around and drive in reverse and slam through people, which makes no sense. Dolph Lundgren and Jet Li have one that says knock knock, and it has a giant, looks like a crane that they chopped off and just starts bashing through. They crash through like 6 buildings, all getting to this prisoner where we find out, hey, good music, I like it, where we find that they've rescued Arnold. They're like, oh, it's you, and he's like, yeah, I got another way out. Then they go out, they zip line, they're still blasting bad guys, and then they get surrounded, and Stallone does an air shoot, and they all die, and you find out that Liam Hemsworth has been sniping from above, and then they all escape on a boat chase that is bananas insane too, with a ton of explosions and craziness. And then there's downtime where they go to the bar, and Liam Hemsworth and Stallone talk.
And Liam Hemsworth says, I'm not into this
they
life.
Spent a lot of time building him up.
But I am going to hang with you guys for the last month.
One more month.
For why, we don't know. And then Bruce Willis gets him and is basically like, I need you to find this mystery thing.
You stole
you owe
$5
me
million
money.
from us.
And I'm going to send this woman with you, and you have to take her along. And Bruce Willis, or
martial arts McNo expression.
Yes, Sylvester Stallone is like, no, I don't want to be a babysitter, and he's like, doesn't matter, you have to take her. So they head out, and they pretty easily find the thing.
Really easily find the plane.
But she has to get in, and like they're holding the door open. She has to get in, and
very weird plot where they have to. There's an encryption that only she can do.
Right. Yeah.
Where it explodes.
And then Liam Hemsworth runs forward, and Jean-Claude Van Damme scraps him.
Oh yeah, and then the Expendables really quickly put their guns down, even though they're the best mercenaries in the world. They just drop their guns because Liam Hemsworth is hostage, and then they assume that Valon is going to let him go, and they take the drive and they go off, and then right before they leave, he says, "I'm not afraid of you," and then they kick the knife into him, kill Liam Hemsworth. Stallone gives him a eulogy, and they say, "What are we going to do? Find him, track him, find him, kill him." And then they basically from there go to a village. No. They go to an abandoned Russian
we find
area.
out they're looking for plutonium.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Molly. That's her name. Who's the woman?
I don't know.
I think her name was Molly.
I call her martial arts McNo expression.
Martial arts McNo expression.
Oh, shit,
so
35
she takes
seconds.
it to and the village is all the women and children whose husbands have been taken
We skipped over
to
when
do the mine.
Chuck Norris comes in, but it's fine.
Doesn't matter. No, not yet, right? Because then they send them to this town, and they hang out in this town, and they sleep overnight, and then the Valane's guys come and shoot them
With a
up, and
tank.
then Chuck Norris kills all
And
those
then the
people.
village happens with the women.
Yep.
And then they help the
That's
women
right.
say, and then I now pronounce you man and knife. And then they go to the mine. There's this giant action sequence, and then they end up at an airport where Schwarzenegger and Willis shows up, and they're just blasting away. And then Stallone kills Valon, and then they're off because they all deserve to be in a museum. We'll get into the action scenes. Don't worry.
Sure.
Don't worry. I feel like my chair just there we go.
Adjust
Okay.
yourself.
I had to adjust myself.
Yeah.
My chair was slinking down again. Am I high up? How's this? Is that good? Steve hates it
We
when
lost you a little bit
Steve
there.
hates
Ben.
it when I do that. Ben,
Ben.
don't do it. You're messing up our iTunes. Anyways, so let's get into the first action sequence because I just wrote the opening action sequence is insane in all capital letters.
Yeah. They utilize every mode of transportation.
And it goes on. I clocked it. It was 14 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
It's so long. It feels like the end of a movie, which it's awesome. But then when you start off that big and then don't do anything for 30 minutes straight is when you're like, wait.
You know what? It's so
Go back to that.
It's so funny that you timed it because I legitimately, when the Expendables logo came up on the screen, I paused it and it was at 14:20, and I was like, that is too long for me not to know what's happening.
See, that is not too long for me as long as they're shooting up bad guys.
There's no context, and I get that the first movie's the context,
Yeah.
and you don't really need context.
Yeah.
But it just for no one to be like, here's what we're doing.
But it's so awesome. I don't care. I disagree with you, but it's fine. I get it. I get it.
Grain of salt, because obviously they don't care.
It's so
and you're not
absurd.
supposed to care, but it was noticeable to both of us.
Oh, yeah.
That we were both just how long was that?
It's insanely long. So they first come in. They like I said, Stallone is driving this car, and I'm like, why is there a battering? It's like this big armored vehicle. And I'm like, why is there a battering ram on the back?
Yeah.
And then he swerves around and drives in reverse, slamming through everything. Just to be cool, I guess.
Yep.
Maybe it's harder to shoot him that way. I don't know.
I think they had whoever was shooting the gun out of that truck was on the back of the truck also, right?
I think it's just a flaw in the design.
Sure,
Then. You know what
yeah.
happened? They showed up to the armored truck rental,
Yeah.
and the guy was like, we got all our front-facing guns. They already rented out.
Yeah.
You guys cool with this? He's like, yeah, I can do a car.
And they're like, it has a GPS. Does that make it better for you?
Yeah, is it Garmin? I like Garmin. I don't know why he's so stuck on Garmin.
Because it's the best navigation system there is. Not yet sponsored.
Sponsored by Garmin.
Pleasure podcast.
So this movie does what all 80s and 90s action films did that ages so poorly but is perfect for me in this movie, where the bad guys, in every action scene, the bad guys have automatic weapons and are just unloading bullets, never hitting the good guys. And the good guys have, in the beginning, they have a bazooka, and Terry Crews has this giant hand cannon. And I read a review on this where it was like, apparently when bad guys are shot, they explode like a balloon filled with ketchup. And that's what happens.
Sure.
Every single, and I like that there was practical squibs. A lot of it was CGI blood, which kind of drives me nuts. But there were moments of practical squibs, which I was stoked
A lot
on.
of them were actually shot. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow,
they stepped up their game.
They did. They were like, hey, they just got a bunch of criminals that were on death row, and we're like, here we go.
Yeah.
That's super dark.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But there's just bazookas. There's just, and the good guys just run out in just no cover, just and just shoot every bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I really want to look up Steve, can you look up if there's a body count for Expendables 2? Because I feel like it's in the hundreds to
I'll look it up
200s.
for you.
Oh, easily.
I feel like it's 200.
Easily.
I feel like 200
Like, per
in the
battle.
opening.
Yeah.
It's insane. So like it delivers exactly what you want in the action scenes when they happen. Then there's like there's a helicopter that shows up, and Stallone's big idea is to rev a motorcycle and have it shoot off into it with no passenger on it, and you know
it worked.
it worked.
Who knew that motorcycles can stay upright and drive by themselves?
It's so awesome, and that is one thing that's real. The CGI is super cheesy in this movie.
Yeah.
Like that, when the helicopter gets crashed by the motorcycle, I'm like, ooh, your budget, your action scenes got a little too big for your britches, but I still love it. I don't care.
You know, the one thing I will say is that for these movies, if it's just going to be, if you're going to focus on the battles and fights,
Yeah.
then you got to do something new. And like, there were a couple things that I hadn't seen before. So that was one thing where I was like, okay, here we go.
I love that. I, as cheesy as it looked, I thought it was
Yeah,
awesome.
for
And
sure.
then the one thing I get really bummed about, and they do this in part 3 as well, Terry Crews gets wounded in the third one, and that's when Stallone's like, I'm hanging it up. We're giving it over to the new kids, which makes no sense, because it's like, I don't want any of us old guys getting killed, but these new kids can.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think any, okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, just to interrupt real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Yes, please.
Looked up on the Wika.com of Expendables 2. Total kill count is a total of 489.
Jeez.
That's insanity. 489?
One good guy. 488 to one.
One good. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The odds are.
I guess they killed some of the like people doing the mining. So I guess
That's not to skip ahead.
They have it as listed as Jason Statham's character, Lee Christmas,
Yeah.
with a leading kill count of 163 kills during that movie.
How did they even count he did that many? Because I feel like Stallone and Crews.
who was dropping bombs on that bridge?
It was,
Oh,
it was
because Statham was firing the guns.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
why
that's what it was.
Statham. That's
Yeah.
why he wins.
Yeah.
Okay, so that. Thank you for that. Geez, 489. That's insane. That's more than I thought. 200, 300 max.
Yeah.
But this is so. Oh, so they knocked Terry Crews out in the beginning of Expendables 3, and then he's back in the end. And then Jet Li's only in the one scene in this. But it's awesome when he's fighting the dudes in the kitchen, and there's that one shot of him just whooping ass with the frying pans.
Yeah.
And they all have knives. Love it. But I was mad that Jet Li didn't get to fight more, because in the first one, there's a great fight between Jet Li and Dolph Lundgren and I think one of the other guys, and it's awesome. So there's some good action in the first one, too. But so then Terry Crews has his giant gun and is just blasting body parts off. They rescue Arnold. And then they give Arnold the big gun. And can we play clip number 1? This is the first of a drinking game that will give you alcohol poisoning if you try and take a shot every time they do a meta joke in this movie.
I don't get this back, your ass is terminated. In your dreams.
It's such... I love it because it's hilarious, but it's such lazy writing.
So bad.
It's like...
It's so bad.
It's like this. Your ass is terminate, and they even there's no I don't come to this movie for subtlety.
No,
but they could have figured
come
out
on.
a little bit of a way to.
No one has ever in their life said your ass is terminated in like regular everyday language.
No one has said any of these things that they
Right,
say.
that's
in
what I'm
this
saying.
movie.
Like, put it into a phrase that like
Hey.
people could conceivably say.
Maybe if we had a cockroach issue.
Sure.
At one point.
Yeah.
And the exterminator came by, and he, after he put up the roach motels, he just said, in a week from now, you're going to come back and go, your ass was terminated.
Yeah.
So I mean, that made sense
that
because
makes
he's an
sense.
exterminator.
Right.
But that's the only time it makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's keep moving on, because I kind of want to breeze through some of the story points and just really get to the action bits, because that's the most absurd stuff. They shoot down a water silo and then zip line. The zip lining sequence is pure 80s, 90s insanity, because these bad guys are shooting up at them. They're wide out in the open, zip lining pretty slow.
Yeah.
I mean, fast, but not super fast.
At a constant speed.
Yeah.
So you can time it out.
You can just aim your gun about 10 feet down
Right.
and just start shooting. You'll hit them.
Yeah.
And instead, they're just mowing down bad. These are the worst shots ever. These bad guys. I mean, when they introduced the village of the women whose husbands are in the mine and they can't
was
hit
funny.
anything,
Yeah.
I'm like, neither can the bad guys.
Yeah, so
like, why
they're-
don't you comment on that?
They have the same instructor.
It's incredible. It's so incredible.
Close your eyes and hope.
And just when you think it's done, when you're like, oh, Stallone and Statham get surrounded, and then he does that. Why does he do this? The whole like, and then Statham goes, is that thing loaded? Let's hope. It's okay.
I don't know. My only thought is that it was a signal to Liam Hemsworth
Yeah.
now's the time. But you would think that he would just be able to see it and know.
You think the signal would be, my boss is surrounded by 12 bad dudes with guns.
Yeah.
Also, why didn't they just shoot them?
Right. Why did you wait?
You've just wasted, out of the 489, probably 172 of them.
Sure.
I just threw that out there, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate.
That's accurate.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Put it on the internet right now.
On the interwebs. Then you think it's done after all them get shot. And then there's a boat chase. So there's all these, there's a armored vehicle assault, there's martial arts fights, there's shootouts, there's a zipline shootout, and then there's a boat chase.
Yeah.
Most action movies don't have that many set pieces in one movie.
In the movie. But
The boat chase is rad.
yeah, like
Super silly.
where were all these people? Like, are they intentionally spread out just in case someone is able to kill the first 150 of them? Or like, what were they doing on the boat to begin with?
I guess they were just ready.
Or they just happened to be, they were like bad guys on vacation, and then the boat came through and they're like, wait a second.
What about the bad guys on the bridge that they just blow apart?
Yeah.
And just, oh man, that's how Statham gets the most kills, because he blows up both bridges that have like
he's the one firing.
that have like 50 dudes. That's not fair. He gets so many with just one giant cannon. I think
But he still does it.
he does the man and knife thing later, which we'll get into that.
He also loves brass knuckles.
He does love brass
He
knuckles.
loves them more than anything.
he just sleeps with them under his pillow.
He loves them more than that.
Who has the
woman that
second
cheats on him.
highest kill count?
Second highest would be Sly, this character Barney Ross, at a total of 70, with third place to the Lone Wolf Booker, Chuck Norris, at 61.
It has, yeah. I mean, Lone Wolf.
I mean,
We never ever
his
actually,
percentage is enormous, though. He was in it for 5 minutes, and he
He's
got
the-
as many as the.
He's the
main guy in
MVP for me.
movie.
He's the
Yeah, for
MVP. There's a lot of vaguely racist jokes in this too that are supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Where like when Jet Li and the other Chinese billionaire parachute out and they say, "That's what I call Chinese takeout," and they all laugh. I'm like, what? Who? How did that make it past the writers' room and not being like, I don't even understand that.
Yeah,
It was something.
there was also like the moment that I laughed at later because I had been thinking about it, like
Yeah.
how did all these people come together? But when I forget who asked him, but they were like, where are you guys from? And Sly was like, well, we're just Americans. And then they were all like, nah, no, we're from everywhere.
Like, no, I'm pretty sure.
No, we're actually from everywhere.
Pretty sure that Arnold's accent is not from Texas.
Yeah, and
You know.
Statham's accent is not a Wisconsin accent.
It gets confusing. It's very similar. Oh, I'm Jason Statham. I'm from Wisconsin.
I'm a dairy farmer.
No, I like to farm dairies. It's really hard not to drop an F-bomb when you're playing Jason Statham, but I'm refraining
you did
from
it, though. You did it.
I didn't.
No, I'm saying you did.
Oh.
You successfally
I
made
did
it through
it.
your impression without dropping an F-bomb.
Hey, what would Channing Tatum say if he was in Expendables 2?
He'd be like, "Man, I'm gonna shoot this gun."
I really hope Channing Tatum comes on this show sometime.
One day.
And one day, and then you just do an impression, he just stares at you,
And he'd be
and
like,
then walks
He'd be
out.
like, "Man, that don't sound like me." That's what he'd be like.
That's so silly. So then we get like this backstory where Dolph Lundgren, they're hanging at the bar and they play up Dolph's real, because he's a genius in real life. He actually,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went to MIT, like all that stuff they say about MIT, and that's all true. Or maybe they twisted things a little bit, but he was like he's a super brilliant scientific mind, and you would never guess that from the way he acts.
No.
But I love me some Dolph Lundgren, but man, he really plays up the creep factor in this, because he goes full villain in the first one, and then they somehow redeem him. I can't really remember at the end. And then now he's like crazy from meds or something. It's super weird.
Very weird.
And he makes me uncomfortable in almost every scene, because he has eyes that look like he's going to either F or kill everyone around him.
Sure.
And F them violently.
And they set him up a couple of times to be
so
like,
weird to say F them violently. Just looking at Stallone, I'm going to F you violently. If I say that, if I insinuate the swear word
you're
enough,
fine.
does it mean that it's explicit now?
"Yeah, what's the conversion rate?" I on actually saying it to making reference to it.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I mean they just set him up too many times for him to be creepy and weird.
Yeah, it's too many times.
Yeah.
And then we talked. So Bruce Willis is back. He sets him up on this mission. We
already talked about the weird Liam Hemsworth. I'm gonna hang with you for another month, which is so arbitrary. Like this is not a job. Like who's paying you? This is not a job. Just go. Just get out.
Is it like a salary?
I don't know.
Because the second they start building him up and like they have him tell this really long-winded story about like in Afghanistan and being in the army, and you're just like, man, you were just telegraphing you're going to murder this dude.
Also, so I have a couple of things.
We've only done 2 sound clips.
No, I know.
Oh crap!
Like, and they're all surrounding Liam Hemsworth character.
Yeah,
but like that bit where he's telling the story and everyone like perks up. First of all, like, how long have you been with this dude that you've never heard this story before?
Yeah.
Because like she didn't have to twist his arm for this. She was just like, tell me the story, and he's like, all right.
Secondly, they've all been through worse, I'm sure.
Yeah. And third of all, like, it was a really weird way to wrap up that. I know they're trying to like give him heart by saying the dog thing, how he like adopted the stray dog, but like to go from all my friends were killed, but the worst part is they killed the stray dog I adopted.
Super strange. Super strange.
All right, man.
Like, I mean, I think all your friends being killed is way worse.
It's way worse. Like, that's terrible about the dog, but
yeah,
it's not. I wouldn't say that's where I would wrap.
No. Let's skip ahead to Van Damme shows up. He does the goat line, like we said, and then to add insult to injury, he takes Barney Ross, aka Stallone's knife, and has Scott Adkins hold it, and then roundhouse kicks it into Liam Hemsworth's chest and kills him. It's awesome. Then they have this funeral for Liam Hemsworth. We got to move on because we talked a whole lot. Wrap show in 16 minutes.
Wait. Before I know that we're butting up, two things.
Yeah.
Number one, I know this is a thing in action movies, but there's no reason Van Damme wouldn't have killed all those people.
There's no reason.
There's zero, especially since they killed Liam Hemsworth, and especially since later they randomly kill innocent people mining the plutonium.
Yeah.
For them to leave this group of assassins to kill Liam Hemsworth for no reason except to give them motivation to come find them is the most idiotic thing that anyone would ever do.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense if like Stallone and them had to escape in a shootout or something.
Right.
But instead they're just like, all right, see ya, we're going to leave you with all your weapons on the ground.
But enough motivation for you to want to come find us. And then the second thing, when Liam Hemsworth is like, this note in my pocket, and Sylvester Stallone grabs it and reads it, and it's a note for his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Stallone then reads it out loud to a group of people at his funeral. It's like, dude, that's private,
That's intrusive,
man. That is
man.
not for them.
That is it.
That is for his girlfriend.
That is not a wall post. That's a direct message to his girlfriend, all right?
Real. Why are you putting him on blast like that?
Come on.
Anyway.
All right, so then I love you picking apart both those things. That's so great. But then so then they ask Stallone after the eulogy, what are they going to do? Clip number 3? Clip number 3. Steve, you hear me? Clip number 3?
What's the plan? Track him, find him, kill him.
And you're like, yeah, here we go. And then like 30 minutes passes by and you're like, anytime now we're going to...
So we're still on tracking.
We're still on the tracking part. But once they get to find him, kill him, man, do they find him and do they kill him?
Boy, do those dominoes fall.
Boy,
tracking him takes a while.
So then we get introduced to the plutonium in the mines, and clip number 4 is we reveal Valon is going to sell the plutonium to the highest bidder, which again, these nefarious bad guys' plots always insinuate the end of the world, and they seem not concerned with that at all. Can we play clip number 4?
From producers Maria Menounos.
Oh goodness.
Sorry.
Or that one.
No, not that one. Here we go, guys.
You're smart. Imagine if 6 pounds of pure plutonium is powerful enough to change the balance of the world. So imagine what 5 tons would do. It's very interesting.
I love that nonchalant. It's very interesting. It's like, no, it's not interesting. It would end the world.
Sure.
And all that money you got, unless you're saving up for a spaceship to Mars with Elon Musk, it's like Elon Musk, not Elon.
Elon Lust is going to get there first.
Kellen Lutz and Elon Lutz. Anyways, so oh god, then there's a scene where they beat the hell out of these dudes in the bar with brass knuckles, which is pretty badass.
Yes.
I like that scene. And then they insinuate that martial arts McNo expression. I really got to learn her name. I want to say it was something like really generic, like Ming or something like that.
I thought it was Maggie, but maybe
Maggie. It was Maggie.
Yeah, it was
Maggie.
right?
It's
Yeah.
Maggie. I knew it was with an M.
Yeah.
I just assumed because they made so many vaguely racist statements that they just gave her a
Sure.
vaguely generic name.
Maggie. So the racist statements were vague. The sexist statements were like super overt.
Yeah, let's get to that one. So this is where they're all going around and saying their favorite meal. And Stallone says something kind of cheeky, like anything that can kill you faster. And you're like, ah. And then Maggie says, like, dumplings or something, like, oh, that sounds actually delicious. And then Lundgren just had to make it weird.
Yeah.
Can we play clip number 5?
My favorite Swedish dinner would be baby seal and whale ash in the summer.
That makes it worse.
In the summer.
But I'd really die for some Chinese.
And then he gives this gross look to Maggie.
Then you're gonna starve to death.
And everybody laughs when it's like, what you should be doing is like, all right, who's going to watch Maggie tonight so Gunner doesn't go in her room? Like, that's like, at that point, you'd be like, Gunner, you're sleeping outside.
Right, yeah.
He's clearly...
You're a lookout, Gunner.
He's clearly the guy that at any minute you're going to have to be like, no, dude.
And apparently, like, he's sort of new to the group. Because you're saying he's villain. He's sort of.
He's not, because he was an old school guy and he betrays them in the first one.
Got it. So, but they knew him and were comfortable with him. Because like if you're new to the group and you're dropping those kind of comments,
it's so
like, man, why don't you take a hike?
I know it's supposed to be. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but it's super creepy. And the way he drags it out too, I could really die for some Chinese. You're just like, even if I was describing getting Chinese takeout actual food that way,
yeah.
It'd be creepy to my wife if I was like, honey, I could really die for some Chinese.
She's like, Ben, put your pants on.
She's being like, oh, ew.
No, I don't like
Do you
this
guys
side
think
of you.
that might have been a throwback to his character in Universal Soldier? He was a racist Vietnam vet.
Well, Steve, how dare you? That is, I actually never even thought about that because I haven't seen Universal Soldier in like 10 years. Is that?
Oh, you guys gotta watch that.
Is that what it is?
I mean, I'm just speculating based on what you guys are
That
saying.
has to-
because it
that
sounds
has
like
to be
it's
then.
it sounds like it's something that's so out of place.
That it has to be a throwback.
But you gotta, I mean, to understand, like every action star in this film is gonna have some throwback to hit up the fans, be like, "Oh yeah, that's a nice joke. That's because that guy was in that movie."
It's super weird to choose. Hey, let's do a throwback to super racist Vietnam vet.
Yeah, how about choose a different character?
How about He-Man, right?
Yeah.
Or
Why did he
even,
say-
even the Punisher. He was the Punisher of the 80s.
Remember, did we talk about the Punisher?
No,
on
we
this?
didn't.
Oh God, come on, God, answer me. It's so good. You got to watch it. It's incredible.
Well, but yeah, like, but
Anyways.
anything besides racist guy is probably something you could lean into.
It was 2012.
Agreed.
You really shouldn't lean into that.
Agreed.
And they do. But so then let's skip ahead there. They wake up the next morning. They're like, all right, we're going to get out of here. And as soon as they do, they start getting shot at. And they're like, oh, well, we can handle this. And then a tank shows up.
It's also sort of funny the way they set it up because Stallone's like, do what you got to do. And Terry Crews is like, great, and leaves. Like, I don't know where he's going. But he just walks out the door and he's like, oh, they're coming. Yeah.
And there's an awesome action scene here where they're pinned down. They're out of ammo. But again, where they're the bad guys have machine guns, Stallone's wasting them with just 2 handguns.
I actually do really like the way they sort of call out how much ammo they have left, because that's always crazy in these gunfights, how there's just unlimited amounts of, and you have unlimited guns and you just toss the empty ones and pull up new ones, and they consistently throughout are like, I got 1, I got 2 left, what am I gonna do? I'm down to 1 clip.
Let's hope it works. And then like he fires it, and then they all get it, but it's still a callback to like but they basically repeat that beat
same
with
joke.
Liam.
Yeah.
And then Chuck Norris shows up and they do the Ennio Morricone from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And then Chuck Norris delivers a Chuck Norris joke. Can we play this? Clip number 6.
I heard another rumor that you were bitten by a king cobra.
Yeah, I was. But after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
I almost fell off the couch when that happened because I was like, that's to me is pure genius and terrible all at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like I keep shrinking. I feel like it's hilarious. And you also realize how rough Chuck Norris is as an actor now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's done anything since Walker, Texas Ranger, really.
It's bad, but it was
Except super fanatical Christian videos.
right.
He's done a lot of those.
But he's not acting in those.
Nope. He's acting like a person.
right.
Anyways,
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's a joy in this movie.
it's ridiculous.
Where he just like shows up twice and mows down a room full of people.
They don't really ever. In the end, you see him fire a few shots, but mainly it's just like off camera. He just wastes a bunch of people and then saunters up.
Yeah, I would love for them to do a spin-off movie of what he does in his downtime, because he's just
Just these fanatical Christian videos.
he's ready at all times to just like
Yeah.
unload on 60 bad guys. But like
so
his
good.
normal life, what is he doing? I have no idea.
Just waiting for bad guys.
Just yeah.
And I like when they're
Target
like,
practice.
I've mellowed out in my old age. And then Stallone looks around at like 40 dead dude or
Yeah.
60, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, not much or whatever.
Right.
It's so good. I love that Chuck Norris showed up. I remember seeing it with my father-in-law and he cracked up. And I think that's also why seeing it the first time, my father-in-law was laughing at everything so much that it just infused. Same thing with a totally different topic, but when I saw Justice League with my dad, he had never seen any of the other DC movies, so he loved it and was laughing and that just energy made me enjoy the hell out of it. And everybody that I talked to was like, I hated it. And I'm like, well, it was fun. My dad thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was a tangent. You got to see these kind of movies with the right person.
Sure.
If you see it with somebody who's going in like, ugh, then you're going to have a terrible time. But if you're going in with somebody who's going to be like me and cracking up at the stupidest stuff, I can either be the most respectful audience member or the most annoying one when it comes to these times. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm that guy when it comes to these movies. That's what you're supposed to do.
If you go with Ben, he'll walk out of the theater during trailers.
I will.
Just so you know, he
I
won't
hate
watch
trailers.
them.
I don't watch them anymore. They give away everything. So then they go to the village where the women can't shoot, and they're at first they're like, we can't be here. Then they're like, wait a minute, no, we're gonna save you. I may have checked out during that story point, so I'm not 100% clear.
Yeah, all it was these were the wives and children of the men who were taken to mine the plutonium.
Yeah,
and
so
they're onto the fact that like they're coming back to get them, basically.
Yep. And so there's just been an action sequence, and then another one happens again and it's awesome. But the setup for Jason Statham's badass knife fight is the worst one-liner I may have ever heard in a movie. Can we play clip number 7?
By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you man and knife.
Stabs a guy in the neck. I love that he's doing this weird accent too. Like,
Yeah.
by the power vested in me,
Got to throw them off.
I'm going to be Dracula. Man and knife. Also, he drops it, looks right at him.
Yeah.
Why does no one shoot him?
Because they're riveted. They're like, what is he going to say?
What is this priest going to do?
Why is he marrying us right now?
Man and knife.
Yeah, like by the power vested in me, like at that moment, they
They're
should have
like,
been
"Oh."
like, this is not right. Why would a priest be walking towards me doing the wedding thing?
Yeah. But his action scene is awesome. He's flinging around the not frankincense. What is it? The incense.
Yeah.
The incense thing. You know, I go to church a lot, Clarence.
The incense thing.
The incense thing.
Ask
And
Chuck Norris, he
he's
knows.
smacking him around and like the embers are hitting people, and then he's knifing dudes left and right, and he throws to it, and it stabs, and then Maggie gets a badass fight scene again. She's awesome at martial arts. We call her martial arts McNo emotion because every time they cut to her, I swear she's like waiting for action.
She looks bored.
She looks like she's like checked out thinking of her grocery list. Like when Liam Hemsworth dies and she's at the funeral, she's like, maybe she's just in shock, a constant state of shock.
She's listening to the beautiful note that
But,
Liam Hemsworth wrote his girlfriend.
Hey, she does a great job in the fight scene, so that's all.
Yeah.
That's all we come to for this. That's all we come to for this.
Come to this for.
Come to this for.
Yeah.
That is a sentence.
There it is.
There we go.
We made a sentence.
And then they blast a whole bunch of other dudes. One last poor dude comes around the corner of that fence.
Yeah.
Stallone yells,
He gets the rest.
one more. And they unload probably like, if they're so worried about their ammo, they unload like 400 rounds in him. Can we play what happens after this guy gets blasted? It's clip number 8.
One more!
Jesus! He's dead, guys!
Rest in pieces!
I really wish he said, Reese's Pieces!
They need to
I want one more.
They need to redo this movie just so Sylvester Stallone can say Reese's Pieces in that moment.
What if what if that was a Reese's Pieces commercial and they're eating it and they freak out because there's only one more?
Yeah.
And then they eat it and then somebody comes in and dumps like a whole bunch of them on him, like the amount of bullets.
Yeah.
And then he goes, Reese's Pieces. There you go. I just gave you your new
Boom.
Super Bowl ad.
Your new ad.
Makes as little sense as this movie, but I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
I
also
love
didn't
it.
chop him up. They just shot him. So like he was in one piece still.
We're just like,
Yeah,
but
he's
it's
holy.
blast.
He's very holy.
Very holy. Just like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
So and Chuck Norris. Hey, so then they don't really they plan a raid on the mine, but really the plan is blow up the bridge, crash the plane through the mine, hope they survive,
right?
And somehow none of the bad guys in the mine or exiting the mine hear this giant explosion or plane crash.
Nope.
Must be just a huge. I mean, they did need schematics to find the plutonium, so clearly it's a giant mine.
Sure, but also like everyone is okay.
It's a really dangerous, violent crash.
It's like
the wings get ripped off. They're smashing into stalactites and stalagmites.
You don't intentionally crash a plane.
No,
that you're
they
in.
do.
That's a mistake.
Barney Ross does. And
they
Lee
crashed
Christmas.
They crashed it into a place that doesn't have a way out. So,
they don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
But what if they just crashed and instantly hit a wall? And we're like, oh,
right.
Whoops.
Yeah. What if there's a big rock, like not even a wall, but just like a big rock that didn't let them through?
Oh God, we have 2 minutes. Okay, so then they go in there. They're blasting away people. They get trapped inside, and then Arnold shows up in this giant drilling machine that and he says, I'm back, and you're like, yep, of course you are.
Sure.
Okay, I'm glad you stated that.
Got it.
Then Willis shows up, and in my favorite shot of the entire movie that makes absolutely no sense because there's so many innocent people running around from the bad guys, and Stallone, Willis, and Arnold are standing behind very foggy glass and just start opening fire, and I'm pretty sure I saw an innocent bystander get wasted in that moment.
That's too bad.
But I'm like, you guys have no regard for it's just like ga 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 ga. But the reveal of the three of them with Chuck Norris sniping from above is one of my favorite shots in motion picture history.
Sure.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I mean,
but hey. So then
you said it, stand by it.
Then basically all you need to know about the ending is tons of body parts flying off. We have this clip number 9 with Willis and Arnold.
I'll be back. You've been back enough. I'll be back.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Okay.
Doesn't,
Okay. No.
Come on.
That's not a conversation. Then Willis shows up in a smart car, and Arnold rips the door off, and Bruce Willis kicks the door off because apparently they're really not structurally sound.
It's not a strong car.
It's a smart car. They go around wasting people. Again, they're on a fixed speed in a smart car, and bad guys can't hit them, but they shoot everybody. There's this badass fight between Stallone and Van Damme in the end. Can we play clip number 10?
You want to man up? I'll man you up.
It's actually kind of flirty.
You know what? Good guys do this in movies all the time when the bad guys run out of ammo. Just shoot them.
Just shoot them.
What are you trying to prove, man? You're already a hero.
Nobody's going to know. Say it was an awesome fight. Just shoot him.
No one's watching you. Just
Indiana Jones did. If Indiana Jones can do it in front of a packed crowd of people watching, you can do it in a closed, airport hangar.
Just do it. You don't need to fist fight him.
And finally, so Vallon gets a chain wrapped around his neck because he whips it like a whip.
Yep.
And it wraps around, pulls him, and he stabs him with the knife that stabbed Liam Hemsworth. Yeah, success. Okay, I know we got to wrap. We're gonna play clip number 11, then we're out of here. This is this Willis, Stallone, and Arnold joking around at the end.
That thing belongs in a museum.
We all do.
And they all get their walkers and come on, they're all in way better shape than I'm going to be at that age.
One last thing, I know that we're wrapped, but one of my favorite parts of the movie was at some break where they're relaxing and they're about to get on a plane. Sly Stallone lights up the cigar, and then they got to get on the plane, I think, and he just like tosses a cigar like it's a cigarette.
No, you don't.
It's like you're in the middle of like urgent life-saving matters. Don't light a cigar until it's over. That is a celebration.
That's what the fat lady sings.
Yeah,
if Independence Day taught us anything, you don't light the cigar until the fat lady sings.
Yep.
We had to kind of backload that a little bit. We had a lot of stuff at the end of the podcast today. We got a little hung up on the details, but that's fine. That's what we do. That's what we do here.
That's our thing.
Thanks for watching today. Hey, Jesse, until next time, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TooMuchJesse and for Sketch at The Prom Losers.
You can find me at the Ben Begley on Twitter and Instagram, at Parents vs. Baby for my wife and I. We have a parenting thing that's funny and ridiculous. And also tweet at us. Let us know what your favorite Expendables movie is. Do you hate them? Do you love them? Who would you like to see in Expendables 4 showing up? It's supposed to start shooting in the fall, I believe. And also give us some suggestions for next week. We love hearing from you. So until next time, what is your guilty movie pleasure?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.